Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Raised by Wolves, Season 1, Episode 3. Um, Virtual Faith is what it's called. Before we start, let me take care of some business and then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, a video will pop up at the very end here. Basically, YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos, my vast video library, and pops it up there for you. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule up there that I change out every week. I'll be changing it out tomorrow. And all the links to my social media. So, excuse me, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. No tier set on the Patreon, but there will be once I hit 1,000 subs. Also, I have links to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and my Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. So, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. Yeah, there we go. So, kind of a setup episode, I guess you could say. A little bit more world building where we see how the Mithraic spent their 13 years in stasis aboard the Ark. And they weren't just in hibernation, just frozen and asleep. They actually, their consciousness was inside a virtual reality where they can interact with each other. They could also interact with the animals that they had. Remember, our last episode I was asking what in the fuck were they doing with the animals? Were they in stasis as well? Yes, the animals are in stasis as well. So they could actually interact with the animals in stasis by uploading their consciousness into the virtual reality, which is kind of weird. But that's how they did it. So we see Marcus and Mary, I guess, or Sue, excuse me, Marcus and Sue interact with Paul and having to get to know their son now. And it looked like the original Marcus and Sue were pretty much assholes. Sue never talked to him, and Marcus was very gruff with him, soldier kind of thing. And they end up actually kind of bonding. And we see later on, of course, when the arc is down and stuff like that, Sue, who really did not want the child, she didn't want to deal with Paul or anything like that, didn't think she can handle it, is now just worried about where he is. And they have trackers on them so they can actually see where all the kids are that mother had taken off the ark, and she's just tracking them. And there's only a handful of people that have survived the crash in the ark. I mean, when I say a handful, I literally mean a handful. There's probably like maybe 10 people. And one of them, of course, is an emissary, of the church or whatever. And so, of course, he's in charge and doesn't know shit. And basically is kind of leaving the children to fend for themselves. Whereas Marcus is like, no, let's take a couple of the men, go over there, take the children back, all this kind of stuff. And the emissary is like, no, fuck this. And remember, this is pretty much all that's left of humanity now at this point, supposedly. Because the atheists had sent a mother and father along with a couple of embryos. They were only able to grab a couple of embryos out, and only one embryo has survived. And then, of course, the ark had 1,000 people on it. That was it. Not a lot of people to start over with civilization, and even less now that there's probably a handful, maybe 10 people. You figure there's maybe 15 people total, 15 humans total out of all of that. And so I don't know if we're going to get into a story of extinction here or not, because even with only 15 people, you don't have enough viable genetic material, as they say, to restart a population. Just you don't. There's a lot of inbreeding at that point and whatnot. But anyway, that's science. So as I hit one of my lamps that are over here. Yeah. And of course, the kids are trying to escape, the ones that are with mother now, because they don't believe that there are any animals out there, even though, the one girl is telling them that, "Yes, I saw one," the pregnant girl, and she's actually rebelling. We see this that, the a lot of them don't agree with the religion that they were kind of that were forced upon them because of where they were in order to survive, and so they're kind of, some of them are trying to break away from that as well. So we see this playing out too. And father is doing his very best in order to work with mother because his existence is on the line too. If he can't protect the children or show that he can protect the children, she's going to obliterate him and basically take him out because, as she puts it, he's going to be obsolete. And she'll just, probably grab some other poor android out of the mix there since there's not that many left and take his ass out. So, of course, the kids run away. And in the preparation of trying to find the children, father finds out why the kids are getting sick in the first place. So the kids are starting to get sick, and they say that mother is probably poisoning them. They're getting the cough that all the other kids got. And in preparation for trying to find the kids, father is using the carbos, those vegetable fruits, whatever the hell they are, and throwing them inside the reactor because it needs organic material in order to rev up the reactors. And when he does that, the ship actually reads that the pits, once the fruit, vegetable, whatever the fuck it is, gets harvested, the pits start becoming radioactive. And it's so much radioactivity that it's actually harming organic, tissue. Why the robots did not know this to begin with, why the androids couldn't figure this out, simple Geiger counter, you think it would be built into the system, whatever. I don't know, but neither here nor there. So that is what's been killing off these kids is radiation. Why is Campion immune to radiation? Fuck if I know. I mean, if it's putting out that much radiation where kids are dying of radiation poisoning, you would think that he would be getting it as well. So what is up with Campion now at this point too? So that's kind of putting into question. I mean, we know that he grew up, that he was an embryo, that he was dead initially when they pulled him out of the goo and she brought him back to life by singing to him or something like that. So I don't know if there's more to this part of it or not, if she did something else to him while she was singing to him, if she infused him with something, we don't know, but we'll find that out as well. So Paul, Marcus and Sue's kid, uh, is the last one. He actually broke off from the group because he was looking for his mouse named Mouse, and broke off from the group. And so mother is looking for him. Father has found the other kids and brought them back already. And he's told Campion that mother, of course, wasn't poisoning the kids. And Paul falls through one of the holes that's been covered over, one of the serpent holes, and luckily hits a big tree branch that's growing across it. But you can see there's heat coming out, like a lot of heat coming out of this hole. So obviously it's probably pretty active. And that's how we leave off on the episode. So yeah, it's kind of weird that everyone was hooked up into a virtual reality machine, while in hibernation, going across and being able to interact with each other. And well, also, I mean, it kind of makes sense too. I don't know. It does and it doesn't. So, but it was an interesting aspect of it that we got to see. Also, that the emissary is still trying to rule things, even though there's only a handful of people left. Like Marcus is like, well, let's just take the guy, half the men and go out and get the kids. And he's like, no, 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 we'll all go together. And he's being carried, you know, uh, along on a litter. And it's just like, really? Come on, dude, walk, you fucking lazy bastard. Yeah, it is kind of like an alien sleep chamber on steroids. I agree with you, Joe. It is. It is Ridley Scott after all. He stole a little bit from James Cameron in that, in that respect. And yes, I know it's in the original Alien as well. It's actually Dan O'Banion's, baby on that one. So, yeah, I mean, I could see that, but I still don't see the need for it. I don't know. It just seems kind of weird. And they also admit that you don't know what the passage of time is while you're in that virtual reality. So interesting, but interesting episode. But again, I'm still kind of like, okay, where is this thing going? Uh, it's got some interesting, items, but it seems more like this would have been a great, I don't know, Black Mirror episode, or maybe even a movie or something like that. You get it really kind of concise as to what the fuck you want and do it. But it's a series, so we're gonna see where this is going, if it's going anywhere. It is Ridley Scott after all, so it could meander quite a bit and just kind of go around in big circles, and you'll end up, back where you started. So who knows? We'll see. Good visuals though, and like I said, some interesting concepts. Tally may be alive. Possibly. Well, yeah, she went fell down the hole there. Yeah, yeah. Yes, that's true. The other toy that was out there, because Tally might, when she fell down the hole. You're right. You know what? I forgot all about that, Joe. I didn't put two and two together on that one. That's right. Paul found the one stick figure out there, and Tally, who disappeared at the edge of one of the holes, might still be alive. That's true. That's a good catch on that one. I didn't even think about that one. But I mean, hopefully we get something going on with this again. It seems to be I don't know, that seems to be kind of the path that we're walking on with these HBO Max series as of late, as they start off almost kind of episodic, like, things really, there's no really overarching story, and then by like episode 3 or 4, we get into a storyline. It's like, okay, this is what the show is going to be about. And it happened with Lovecraft Country, and I'm waiting for that to pop in with Raised by Wolves as well. You had to watch a video to get credit for it? Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did, Joe, because yeah, I didn't catch that at all either. It was a little too subtle for me. I remember seeing the stick figure and I was like, "What the fuck's that? Did they go out that far?" And then I didn't even think about it ever again, because that's how subtle it was. And again, it's Ridley Scott, so yeah. I mean, he does do stuff like that, unfortunately. And he's directing this entire series. So there you are. Who knows what he's thinking on that? So, yeah, it's a 7 out of 10 for me on this one. I mean, not great. I wasn't about to rewatch it again. I actually forgot how it ended, and I just watched it like 2 days ago, and so I went back just a couple of minutes ago before this started, and you know, fast forwarded through it. I'm like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, I remember all this now. Yeah. Might be better as weekly than as a binge show. Yeah, this one I don't know. Tell you the truth, Joe. I think this one might be better as a binge than a weekly, because it's really kind of slow. I mean, there's some interesting concepts. Again, this needs an editor, is what this needs. It should have been a different medium. I don't think it should have been a series, and been more concise and edited down is really what needed to be done. Dante S says, so there's other people already on the planet, not that we know of. I mean, not that we know of. Uh, there are other entities or creatures, yes, but we know the serpents are there. We've seen the serpent bones. We know whatever those you know cat creatures without any fur on them and no tails are, the really skinny looking ones. Uh, the little girl at the end, yeah, the one that he was following. We're thinking that's Tally, the one who supposedly fell down the hole when she was like 4 or 5. Uh, so yeah, yeah. So that makes a lot more sense then as to what Paul was seeing. I don't know if he was hallucinating or what was going on. Yeah. Dante S says, yes, that's her. She didn't live alone. Well, we don't know that for sure, Dante S. Not yet. We don't even know that if that's her. Most likely it is, but still. Yeah. Who is the savior, Paul or Campion? That's a good question, Joe Greer. Now that we know that people could actually change who they are, what they look like and all that stuff, and full, medical devices as Marcus did, as we saw at the very beginning, then yes, Paul could be Campion. We don't know. We don't know for sure. All we know is we probably have an unreliable narrator, is what we have going on. We start off with a narrator happening, but we don't know exactly who that narrator is. And it sounds a little bit like an older voice, not much older, but just a little bit of an older voice. It could be better sci-fi, Joe Greer. Right now, it's kind of meandering for me. I need it to be tightened up just a little bit and get with what they want to get to. You know, by the end of season one, how far in the future will we be? Well, we're already at 2158 is where they're at now. We know this because the war that we saw in Boston was in 2145 when Marcus and Sue, the Marcus and Sue, I put that in quotation marks, went up in the Ark, and they said it took 13 years to travel across the galaxy. So 2145 plus 13 is 2158. There you go. The mother reminds me of Dolores from Westworld. It could be tied in. Who knows? Could very well be tied in to Westworld. I doubt it, but it's Ridley Scott, and he doesn't want to play ball with anybody. He didn't even want Neil Blomkamp going in and doing a movie in the Alien franchise that wasn't going to deal with any of his bullshit that he had. So, yeah. Joker says, better than the last two seasons of the 100. I'll take your word for that. I haven't watched it. I think I watched a couple of early episodes of the 100, and I was like, nope, this isn't for me. This is too CW, and I turned it off. So with that said, what else do I have going on this week? Tomorrow is another episode of Is It Worth My Time? This time it's Cobra Kai seasons 1 and 2, which is on Netflix. Do a quick recap of that one. Or not a recap, just is it worth my time? Wednesday I'm going to be off. Thursday is a new episode of Raised by Wolves. Friday is The Boys. Saturday is Saturday Morning Blast Off Ridiculous Genre News of the Week, and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about when we talk about it. And then Sunday is a new episode of Lovecraft Country. So there we go. And then, of course, Monday of next week, I'm off, as usual. Dante S says, I'm just wondering if we catch with the narrator's timeline. I don't think so. We don't. Yeah. Am I enjoying Lovecraft? Yes, I am. I really like Lovecraft. It's that good mix of horror and story. They actually now that we know what's going on with the story, what they're going for, what the overall arcing story is for the season, it's really good. And the horror stuff, they pull enough Lovecraft stuff into it, mixed with what's going on at the time with racism in the 50s, but they don't overpower you with that. They just kind of mix it in subtly because it's this is what happened at the time. This is what it is. And I kind of like how they're doing this, how this is mixing together. And the actors are great. The writing is good. The production value of Lovecraft is actually really good as well. And it's spot on. Quite honestly, I haven't been bored with any of the what is it, 4 episodes now that have come out? Yeah. So I'm really liking it. They did a good job. Yeah. So, um, I'll have to check it out. It's high praise. Some people don't like it, Dante S. I'll just say that right now. Um, I don't know why that is, but I'm not one of those people that's having a problem or an issue with it. I actually like what they're doing. And I do have Lovecraftian books up there someplace on that side. Yeah, I've got 4 Lovecraft books up there. So, yes, I have read Lovecraft. I know his stuff, and I know he's a or was a huge fucking racist too. So, yeah. Anyway, with that said, this episode for Raised by Wolves, episode 3, 7 out of 10. We'll see. Hopefully next week is better. I saw the preview for next week, and we'll see how things go. With that said, or I should say this week, preview for this week because it's on Thursday. Yeah. Thanks everybody who joined me tonight in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about joining up, take a look at the video that pops up here, and if you like what you see there, hit the subscribe button down there. Also, remember to like and share as well while you're there. And if you want to know when I'm going to be live and again next, you can hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule that's up there, and all the links to my social medias are there as well as the links to Facebook and my Facebook group page. Blah. There we go. Yeah, Joker, I've been close to 1,000 for a while now. It's just been hovering, sometimes it goes to 85, sometimes 90, it's going back and forth. So, yeah, just need that extra push just to kind of get people to sign up, subscribe. They don't ask anything from you either. So it's free, all free, all free. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to let you guys go for the night. Have a good rest of your evening. And, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find a stick figure out in the forest, and don't follow the little girl that is, tittering, because you might just fall down a snake hole and hopefully grab onto that big tree branch that's right across the hole and save your ass from falling down the pit. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, have a good night. Take care. Be well. And I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Thanks.